Hello, everyone. So again, welcome to our subject. And for today, we are about to discuss the completion of accounting process, which is referring now to the first part, which is about worksheet. So actually, I will be preparing various video lectures about the completion of accounting process. So please watch out for the succeeding videos now. And for today, we will just be starting with our worksheet. But before we proceed, this is your instructor, Noel Bergonia. So just sit back, relax, take down notes. And if you do have question, please let me know on our respective chat boxes, or you can use the comment portion of this particular video lecture to raise your questions. Okay? So before we start proper with the worksheet discussion, let me just again remind you about our previously discussed accounting cycle. Okay, so when we talk about the accounting cycle, so this actually refers to the series of sequential steps or procedures performed to accomplish the accounting process. So we have already introduced this in our discussion of module number 3. And actually, we have started since module number 2 in um, identifying and analyzing the business transactions. Then we have already recorded that analyzed transactions in our journal. We have already discussed the posting of it, and of course, preparation of the trial balance. And then in our module number 4, we have actually discussed all about the concepts of adjusting entry. So kaya po yun nauna doon because we are going to use it in our today's discussion as well as in the succeeding discussions. Okay? So for today, we will be discussing the worksheet preparation if the company opted to use the worksheet, because actually this is step number 5, which is worksheet preparation, is an optional step. So kaya in some cases makikita ninyo in various materials na iba-iba yung sequencing ng steps because there are actually optional steps here, just like step number 5. But even though it's optional, I will introduce the worksheet preparation to you guys. Okay, and then we have the rest of the other steps which we will be discussing in our succeeding video lectures to complete our accounting cycle. Okay? So let's now start with our discussion of worksheet. So bago tayo mag-proceed sa actual na pag-prepare ng worksheet, so let me just introduce to you first what worksheet is. So when we talk about a worksheet, this actually refers to a columnar sheet of paper which is used to summarize information that are needed to make adjusting and closing entries as well as to prepare the financial statements. So typically, ito pong worksheet, if you are going to prepare it, okay, even though it's an optional step, it will help us, okay, to prepare the adjusting entries and closing entries, which are the succeeding steps, as well as the preparation of our financial statements. Because from the created or polished worksheet na meron tayo, as an output of this particular discussion ng process of preparing the worksheet, we can get the information we need to those other steps from the worksheet. Now, this particular worksheet, please take note that it is just only a tool used by accountant and is not part of the formal accounting record. So as you all know, we have started with journal and ledgers in our previous discussions. They are actually part of the formal accounting records natin. Okay, but worksheet, being an optional step, is only a tool that was being used by an accountant to help him or her to prepare those what we have mentioned a while ago na adjusting entries, closing, and financial statements. Okay, so hindi naman siya yung talagang formal accounting record na we need to keep. Kasi pag sinabi natin formal, it is a required step actually. Now, this particular worksheet, just like what we have mentioned in our previous discussions about the timing or the periodicity of our financial information or reports. Okay, this worksheet could be also used by the accountants, each time that they will prepare the financial statement. So it's either pwedeng monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual, or even at the end of an accounting year, whether fiscal year or calendar year. So ayun, yung in terms of periodicity, so if the company used the worksheet, so kung gaano ka-frequent yung paggawa ninyo ng financial information or financial statements, then ganun din ka-frequent yung paggamit ninyo ng worksheet if you will be opting to use that. Okay? Then again, no, just to put an emphasis, this is an optional step. Okay? So I hope na naintindihan po natin yung ating worksheet, no. Actually later I will show you no an exact kumbaga itsura ng worksheet kasi even though it's online right now, no, you cannot buy actually worksheet na kung saan-saan, no. Just want to show you lang later kung ano po itsura. Okay, so before we proceed showing you the exact itsura ng worksheet and how to prepare for it, no? So let me just give you a theoretical background about the steps. How are we going to prepare this worksheet? Okay, so do not forget, no, just like what we did in the trial balance preparation, no, we need to put header in our worksheet. So the header is again identifier that this particular worksheet is for this company at a certain period of time. Okay, so we need to put the name of the company, again the spelling, please take note of that class. Okay, and then the name worksheet, okay, as well as the date. Okay, and again, the date should be the last day of the accounting period on which we are preparing the worksheet. So, kung 31 yan, dapat 31. Kung 30, 30. So, it depends upon the month. So, later, I will show you kung saan part ilalagay yung header doon sa ating worksheet. That's a one. And the first step no, na kailangan ninyong gawin is to put the header para, again, no, complete yung ating worksheet, no, at identified na siya ay para sa company yon, and that's that particular working paper. Okay, next would be we need to enter the titles and balances of the ledger accounts in the trial balance column. So eventually, class, what we did in module number 3, no, nung nag-prepare tayo ng trial balance, is we just prepare it in a separate sheet of paper. Okay, or even if it's computerized, no, you have put it in another Word file. But if you're going to use the worksheet, no, in the accounting process, the trial balance will be the first part of your worksheet. Okay, so instead of preparing it on a separate file, pwede mo nang idiretso agad yung trial balance sa iyong worksheet. Okay, so yun po yung magaganap later. And then in the adjustments column, it is where we're going to put the adjustments. So hindi pa po agad tayo mag-journalize and post ng adjusting entry kasi kung babalikan po natin kanina yung steps na pinakita ko in the introduction, no, ang journalizing and posting of adjusting entries in the journal at saka ledger happens after the worksheet preparation. Kasi for the meantime, no, to facilitate the preparation of financial statement, no, gumagawa muna tayo ng adjustments in the worksheet. Then afterwards, we put it in our journal. Okay, sir, hindi ba double work yun? I think hindi naman because what our goal is to prepare immediately the financial statements muna and then bago tayo mag-journalize and post ng adjusting entries through the help of the worksheet. Okay? So we identify each adjustments with letters. So if ever man na later, no, meron tayong mga letters in the information about our adjustments, we can put that as well there to identify that para pag nag-journalize and post na tayo ng adjusting entries, then madali na lang. Another is that kaya tayo nag-discuss in module 4 class ng adjusting entry. It's because we need to have the input already, no, ng about adjustments. So pag hindi ko kasi diniscuss yung module 4 sa inyo, for sure, no, medyo maguguluhan kayo about the adjusting entry. So I hope that you grasped already the knowledge in module number 4 about our adjusting entries. Okay? So yan po yung adjustments column. Then we will have the adjusted trial balance columns, the adjusted balances in our adjusted trial balance will be separated into the income statement columns, which will include the revenues and expenses accounts, and also the balance sheet columns naman, which will have the asset, liabilities, and owner's equity account. So yan po yung mga i-expect natin na makikita later pag nag-discuss na po ako ng process how to prepare the worksheet. Okay, so again, class, if you do have questions, just please let me know on our respective chat boxes or you can comment on this particular video lecture. Okay, alam kong excited na kayo at gusto niyo na makita kung ano itsura ng worksheet. So, sorry. May last pa pala dito, no? So sa bottom part, no, ng income statement at saka balance sheet, meron tayo makikita doon na net income or net loss. So later we will be discussing that as well in our example para makita ninyo yung sa real process. Okay, so without further ado, no, I will now show you the itsura konyo, no, itsura ng worksheet. Okay, so this is an example of a worksheet, no. Actually, if you will be in a face-to-face setup, no, I will be requiring you to buy it in the ground floor. But anyways, ayun, this is the actual itsura ng worksheet natin. It's actually a yellow paper and medyo malaki siya. Okay, pag nasa classroom tayo, yung inyong desk ng chair is kumbaga hindi kasya for this particular worksheet, no. Ang usually ginagawa ng students ko is fino-fold into half. But anyways, no, I have asked you, no, to buy a journal notebook pero 10 columns because that's the usual columns that we are using for worksheet preparation. Okay, pero yung kasing journal notebook ninyo is white, no, but a worksheet will be a yellow one. Okay, so pag bumili kayo ng worksheet, no, even though I'm not requiring you class, I'm not requiring you, I can give you a copy of this itsura nitong worksheet na to in our group chat. But anyways, no, pag bumili kayo nito, wala pong laman yan. Okay, itong mga sulat-sulat na nakikita nyo dito sa screen, you cannot see it pag bumili kayo, no. Kayo po yung maglalagay niyan. So let me explain to you, no, itong worksheet na to. So eventually, makikita ninyo, we have this column, no, kung saan ito yung pinakamalaki. As you can see the title that I have already written here, now we have account titles. And actually, these account titles are used for the account titles itself. Okay, pero bago yan, no, kung naalala nyo kanina in the previous slide yung step, so we need to start with the header. So ito po yung header natin, no? The worksheet header, which contains the name of the company. So in this case, Butter Legal Services. So paki-take note na lang class, sana igitna po ninyo yung ating header, ha. Ayoko sana, pwede naman na dito sa left side, no, and some are putting it in the right side, but may I request that in our class it would be at the middle. Okay, at the middle portion yung ating worksheet header, which contains the name of the company. Sir, kailangan po bang i-bold? Hindi naman. Sir, capitalize po ba? Pwede i-capitalize nyo lahat or pwedeng naka-sentence kayo. So kung paano rin binigay sa inyo sa problem, so ganun din yung pwede nyong gawin dito. Okay, so it's up to you. For as long as, again class, no, yung spelling, na lang po ha, paki-take note, dapat tamang spelling kasi yun yung mga challenges natin previously, no? Yung kulang sa S, again, no, it should reflect the real name of the company. And then in the second line, you will write there naman worksheet, okay, because this whole paper is all about the worksheet. And then lastly, itong third line would be the date. So lalagyan natin for the year ended kasi malamang for the year ended to, pwedeng for the month ended kung month ended yung ginagawa natin, or for the quarter ended, or for semi-annual ended. So pwede po yun, no? Or 6 months ended. Again, please take note that the date should be the last day of the accounting period on which what we are doing it. Okay, so yan po yung worksheet header ha. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan kasi once na you forgot to write this, no, completely, then lalo na pag nag-check ako, no, there will be no points already in the totality of your worksheet, no, kasi importante yan. Gusto mo ba na tignan yung working paper mo, hindi nila alam kung anong period yan or anong para kaninong company yan, no? So dapat nandun yung header. Okay, so please take note of that. Do not forget that header. Okay, so yan po yung ating first part kanina, the header. And then next is all about this column. As mentioned to you a while ago, we have the account titles. So ito bang parang itsurang date, hindi namin gagalawin. If we're going to prepare a worksheet, no, walang gamit sa atin itong part na to. Okay, I hope that you can see my cursor in the screen, no. Itong part na to na parang itsurang date, kung journal man sana gagamitin itong worksheet na to, no. So hindi po natin yan gagamitin for worksheet preparation. We will start with the account titles column. And in the account titles column, no, so this will be used to write our account titles in accordance with the chart of accounts. Okay, so pwede na po ninyong i-plot lahat kung ano yung titles sa chart of accounts, no, but typically sometimes, no, gaya nung gagawin natin mamayang example, pag hindi nyo na isulat naman lahat ng account titles, there will be an alternative na pwede naman natin idagdag yung mga kulang doon sa account titles. Kasi somehow, pwede kasing yung trial balance na gagawin ninyo, since that's the next step after you have posted the all in the ledgers, no? So gumawa kayo ng trial balance, may mga accounts na walang laman, so hindi nyo nilagay yung titles. So okay lang naman yon kasi we have an alternative na isusulat din naman natin dito sa account title. Okay? Pero ayun, if you can do write the whole chart of accounts, then pwede po naman. Okay? Pero in computerized version, no, are they really doing worksheet preparation? Actually, class, in large companies, they are not already preparing worksheets, since yung kanila accounting system was already designed, no, in a continuous manner. Pero in small entities, or even for those who wants to make a working paper, no, before they prepare the financial statements, adjusting entries na na-mention ko kanina, then they can prepare the worksheet. Okay? Ayun. So going back, here is the account title. By the way, pag naglagay pala kayo, class, ng ng header nung columns na yon, no, may I request that you put it on the middle part. Kagaya nito, 'di ba? May parang three rows tayo. So for the account title na word, nilagay ko siya doon sa middle row. Okay? I hope so na ganun din po yung gawin ninyo. Okay? Sige. So, after the account titles column, merong parang PR column dito, no? So, ignore nyo lang po yan, yung parang maliit na part na yan. Ignore lang yan. We will now have, no, the 10 columns. So, typically, a worksheet that was being used was a 10-column worksheet. Sir, bakit siya 10-column worksheet? Kasi as you can see, now we have column 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10, okay, which represents the various columns. Mamaya babanggitin ko, no, after kung ma-discuss itong kabuuan ng 10-column worksheet, na pwede rin pong sometimes worksheet are being prepared using 8 columns naman. Okay, meron lang mawawalang column. But anyways, no, in general, for our class, no, in this semester, we will be using the 10-column worksheet. Okay, so we will start with the trial balance. Okay, so as mentioned kayo sa inyo kanina in the previous slide, no, we will start with the trial balance. Okay, so wala pong laman din yan na title, no. Ang gagawin niyo is to write the trial balance on the middle row. Okay, and then we put debit and credit. In column 1, debit, and column 2, credit. So bali ang mangyayari, as mentioned to you a while ago, no, once you prepare the trial balance, idiretso nyo na lang siya sa worksheet kung gagamit kayo ng worksheet. So I have discussed already the proper way how to write in these money columns before in module number 3. No? So ganun pa rin po yung application natin dito kung paano nyo i-input. Mag-ingat lang kayo, ha, dapat kung debit po yon, dapat naka-input siya sa debit, kung credit sa credit po. Okay, so ayun po, no, this is our trial balance column. Okay? So ito pala yung explanation. No? This is used to input the copy of our trial balance. Okay. So after that first 2 columns, no, we have the adjustments column. And again, no, yung adjustments column natin represents 2 columns which are for column 3 debits and then column 3 credits. So para saan ba to? This is actually where we are going to write temporarily the adjusting entries, pero hindi pa siya formally na journalize kasi nasa other steps po yun. Gagamitin lang natin ito para makuha natin yung adjustment and adjusted trial balance. Okay? So which will help us to facilitate the preparation of the financial statement. Sir, malalagay po ba lahat ng adjustments dito? Yes, no? So all of the adjustments or whatever data of for adjustments na meron yung company, okay, dito natin muna siya isusulat sa adjustments column. So you will apply yung natutunan ninyo sa module number 4 natin, no, about adjusting entries. Okay, ano yung naka-debit, ano yung naka-credit, what proper method, pero again, no, hindi pa siya formally journalized since we need only to input it. So kung debit siya, edi lagay mo sa debit. Kung credit yung amount, then lagay mo sa credit. Tapos hahanapin mo, dapat nakatapat siya doon sa title to be used in our adjusting entry. Okay? So ayan, that's for the adjustments column. And then after the adjustments column, ang gagawin natin for column 5 and 6 is what we so-called adjusted trial balance. So actually, this adjusted trial balance is somehow the original trial balance in column 1 and 2, no, plus or minus any adjustments in columns 3 and 4. Kaya siya naging adjusted trial balance. Sir, paano yan kung wala naman siyang adjustments? Do we need to write anything in the adjusted trial balance? Yes pa rin, class. No? So mamaya we will show na kung sakali man na trial balance, meron siyang laman, yung isang account. Then sa adjustments, hindi naman siya naapektuhan ng ating adjustments or adjusting entries. Then ika-copy-paste lang natin siya in the column where it is placed in the trial balance going to our adjusted trial balance, whether debit or credit. Pero kung merong laman sa adjustments, then depende whether it will be added ba or it would be deducted. Okay? And then after you prepare the adjusted trial balance, which is column 5 and 6, now you will now prepare column 7 and 8. Okay, which is income statement. So bawal yung pagbaliktarin to sana, class. This is the format kasi income statement po, debit credit for column 7 and 8. Now, ang gagawin lang natin dito is copy paste na lang, no? So in the income statement, okay, you will extend all the revenue or income account and expense account that you can found in the adjusted trial balance. So, di ba, na-considered na sa adjusted trial balance yung mga adjustments natin. So, ang gagawin nyo lang is you will copy yung expense at saka revenue accounts or income account going to the income statement. Okay? Hindi pwedeng kasama yung balance sheet accounts because you can see naman the balance sheet accounts in columns 9 and 10. No? Wherein we have also debit and credit. Okay? Tapos yung balance sheet, or pwede nyo rin ilagay financial position or statement of financial position, pero mas maikli na lang, balance sheet na lang po. So for the balance sheet columns 9 and 10, this is where we're going to extend naman yung assets, liabilities, and owner's equity amounts, no, from the adjusted trial balance. So parang mag-split na sila. Sa adjusted trial balance, nakalista lahat yung assets, liabilities, owner's equity, income, at saka expense. Pero pagdating ng income statement and balance sheet columns, maghihiwalay na po sila. Kasi depende na dun sa nature natin. Okay? So after nyo mapaghiwalay, dun na natin i-apply yung last bullet kanina, which I will show you naman then later na lang. Okay? Para mas maintindihan ninyo doon sa ating particular example. Okay? So ito po yung itsura ng worksheet natin. So this is how we're going to use it later for our example. Actually, after this slide, no, I will show you already an example and how to input amounts or even to prepare the worksheet. Okay? Para at least maging familiar kayo, and as I gave you the assignment or activity for this worksheet, then you will know how to use that worksheet. Okay, so before I proceed to the example, so those are the things that you need to know about worksheet. Again, if you do have questions, just please let me know on our respective chat boxes, or you can comment on this video lecture. Okay, so let me just transition. No, I will exit this PowerPoint, then go to the Excel file. So just give me some time lang. Pause lang ako saglit. All right, so we're back, and I hope that you can see now my screen, no, which is showing the sample worksheet. Okay, so again, we will prepare the worksheet if you opted to prepare the worksheet, no, after you have already journalized and posted all of the transactions, and you might have already prepared already the trial balance, no, and usually ginagawa yan dito sa worksheet if we use the worksheet. Okay, so ito na po actual ano na to, no, example natin. So ito po yung ating header. So the name of the company, Butter Legal Services, the worksheet, then the date, which is for the year ended December 31, 2020. So as you can see, no, the trial balance was being prepared here in the worksheet na. So the account titles, no, which are coming from our chart of accounts maybe, or whatever man yung may laman na balance in the trial balance natin. Okay, and then the amount. So remember class that once you prepare the trial balance, dapat yung appropriate na debit or credit account should be written properly on the debit or credit side nila. Okay, kasi again, we do not want to have an imbalanced trial balance. Okay, so we have the total, no, which is 569,000. Pakita ko lang, no, pag lakihan ko lang, I hope that you can see it. So as you can see, no, medyo makapal yung line kasi I just want to put an emphasis that under the utilities expense, after natin magsulat ng 40,000, kailangan may ano siya, may linya siya or may equal sign siya, as we have mentioned also before in the preparation of trial balance. So ayan po, kung makikita ninyo, nasa dulo siya ng column 1, itong red part, tapos hanggang dulo rin ng column 2. So I wish na ganun din yung gawin ninyo class, no, once you prepared this worksheet. Tapos may I request that you use as well ruler, no, to really straighten up yung ating line, no. I don't want to see crooked lines, okay? And then kung napapansin ninyo, after nitong total na 569,000, meron siyang double rule. So that's the double ruling class again, the rule natin sa klase, pag hindi niyo dinouble rule, may deduction kayo. But anyways, ayun, i-double roll nyo lang siya from column 1 up to column 2, which is meron ng total amount natin. Okay, so wag nyo kakalimutan yung mga yan because those are some technicalities that I am looking for, no, pag nag-check ako ng worksheet. Okay, so going back, no, doon na tayo sa process. Ayan, wait lang, let me just using ko lang customization. Ayan. So let's say ito na yung ating trial balance. Okay, so after that, no, we need to prepare the adjustments columns. Okay, so for the adjustments column, no, we will be applying yung concepts that we have discussed in module 4 about adjusting entries. And in the real practice, no, of course, data for adjustments are not given. Ikaw yung maghahanap. Let's say for example, no, may hindi ka na bill na kliyente, tapos nag-bill ka lang at the end of the year, then ayun, 'di ba? Adjusting entry siya for accrued revenue. O kaya naman may dumating na bill at year end, hindi pa siya naka-record, edi i-record mo siya as accrued expense. Or even yung depreciation ninyo, hindi nyo pa na-record. And the rest of the data for adjustments that we have discussed in module number 4. Okay, so for this particular example, no, dito po sa ating part na ito, no, you can take a screenshot of it class para mamaya, no, pwede nyong balik-balikan. Okay, so ito po yung ating data for adjustments. No, we have 5 data for adjustments so that we can complete our worksheet for Butter Legal Services. Okay, so sige, so paano yung gagawin natin? Basahin po natin, no? We have actually 5, so we will be expecting 5 sets of data for adjustments na ilalagay doon sa adjustments column. Okay, so tignan natin. Letter A, office supplies on hand at year end is 2,500. So office supplies, hindi ba? This office supplies is actually what? A prepaid expense. Di ba? Prepaid expense po yan. Advance payment po yan. Binili natin, hindi pa natin nagagamit. May natira daw na 2,500. Di ba in our discussion of module 4 in prepaid expenses, may dalawang method. It's either asset method or expense method. Pero ano kaya method yung applicable dito? Tignan nyo ha, ang binigay is on hand or natitirang balance 2,500. Tignan natin yung trial balance. Okay, so the trial balance gave us an office supply, not 8,000 pesos. So what does it mean? And your recording, kung nag-record ka nitong Butter Legal Services in the journalizing and posting process, no, at merong office supplies na 8,000, malamang sa malamang, no, we have used the asset method. So kung asset method yung ginamit kasi ang binigay na account is office supplies here, what is the adjusting method that we're going to use? Of course, you are correct, no? We will be using the asset method. So in the asset method, what portion will be used for adjustment? Is it the used or unused portion? The answer is, you are again correct, no? It should be the used portion. So kung 8,000 yung pinaka-balance natin before tayo mag-adjust, tapos ang sabi kanina ang natira is 2,500, magkano yung difference nun? You are correct, no? So the difference of this is amounting to 5,500. So 8,000 yung balance natin bago mag-adjust, pero ang natira po is 2,500 as per data for adjustment. Kaya meron tayong nagastos na or nagamit na 5,500. Okay, so isipin ninyo muna yung journal entry. Ano ba yung journal entry niyan kung sakaling we have adjusted it in module number 4? So that's actually debit, office supplies expense. Diba? Okay, saglit lang. Palakihan lang natin yung font. Okay, office supplies expense. So magkano? 5,500. And then we credit office supplies, di ba? Ganyan yung supposed to be na ating adjustments. So hindi pa natin nga siya i-formalize na i-journalize, no? So what we will do is to put this contextualized journal entry, no, for the adjustment ng use portion of the office supplies to our adjustments column. So debit tayo ng office supplies expense. Tignan natin yung ating account titles. May office supplies expense na ba? Wala. So paano gagawin natin, sir, kung walang office supplies account dito pero nasa chart of accounts naman natin? So ang gagawin mo lang, no, kung hindi siya makikita dito sa ating initial set of account titles, idadagdag mo lang siya. Okay? So dito sa baba ng total, okay, idadagdag natin yung hindi po nakikita, ha. Kung nandyan naman, wala na tayo idadagdag. Pero dahil hindi natin nakita yung office supplies expense, then idadagdag po natin. Okay, so office supplies expense. Ayan, you will write it in the account titles below the total column. And then, di ba, naka-debit siya doon 5,500. So, dito po, yung office supplies expense ninyo in the adjustments column, dapat mailagay natin siya sa debit column din. So, 5,500, di ba? So, input nyo siya, dapat make sure ha, nakatapat siya ng office supplies expense. So, 5,500. So ingat lang ulit kayo sa paglalagay, ha, just like what we have mentioned before. Okay, so ayan po, no, 5,500. Ito yung binanggit ko kanina, no, na you can write letter in your adjustments, no, to represent the information about data for adjustments if it is available. Okay, para lang ma-identify natin na ay ito pala yung kapartner. So since merong letters po, no, I can suggest that we will put a letter here. So paano po ilalagay yung letter? Di ba aware naman kayo na itong sa column 3, itong pinakauna, this is supposed to be the peso column, di ba? Or millions column. Pero we can use it to write the letter. Okay, so ilalagay natin letter A. Okay, to denote that this particular data, okay, is the data for adjustment letter A. Okay, so ganyan lang, no? Diyan nyo lang siya ilalagay. Okay? Sir, paano kung wala? Okay lang bang wala? Pwede namang wala. Okay, if hindi nyo kayang malagyan ng letters. Pero it will be easier for us pagdating kasi natin sa step number ano bang step na to? Step number 5 na to, no? So step number 6 or the succeeding steps, no, para pag generalize natin si data for adjustments, then madali lang natin mahanap. Okay? So ayun, nilagyan ko na lang ng letter for the sake of the adjustments. Okay? Ano yung partner niya? 'Di ba debit office supplies expense? And then we credit office supplies. So ngayon naman, titignan niyo yung office supplies, we will write on the credit side, no, 5,500. Again, class, just like our journal, if you use with money columns na ito, kagaya nito, no need for comma sign or decimal point, ha? Okay? So 5,500. So we write 5,500 on the credit side. And then we can write as well the letter for the data for adjustments. Ayan. So para pag napansin mo, ay parehas silang letter A. So ibig sabihin sila yung magka-partner. Match made in heaven. Charot lang. Okay, pero ayun, mas madali natin siyang manotice na ay sila pala yung magka-partner. So naka-debit yung office supplies. So debit office supplies expense and then credit office supplies. So yun pala yung adjustments. And pag tinignan niyo yung sequencing ng inyong data for adjustments, ay yun pala yung about sa adjustments on the office supplies. Okay? So are we clear on that? All right, so basta wag niyo kakalimutan ha to write the exact same amounts on the debits and credits. At saka kailangan ma-ensure ninyo na tama yung amount na ini-input ninyo as well as kung saan side siya dapat na input so that we will not have any problem in our total balances. Okay? So again, if you have questions, please let me know. Okay? Okay, so let's proceed with our next data for adjustment. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa una. Second, no, letter B, on January 1, 2020, the company purchased an office equipment which cost 150,000 with an expected life of 5 years and no salvage value. So binili nung January 1. So since we are talking about worksheet of December 31, so malamang sa malamang we will be having the data for adjustments natin, no, good for 1 year. Okay? So for our entry about depreciation yan, di ba? Kasi we are talking about office equipment. So we can debit depreciation expense. Okay? Since wala naman tayong given chart of account, so we can use OE, no, for office equipment. Okay? And then we credit accumulated depreciation dash OE. Okay? So magkano ba yung depreciation natin? So it's actually 150,000 using straight line method dahil wala naman po tayong salvage value, 0 daw. So divide it by 5. So that would mean our depreciation expense for the year would be equal to 30,000. Okay? So 150,000 divided by 5, so that's 30,000. So yan po yung i-expect natin na adjusting entry for our depreciation related to our office equipment. Okay? So ilagay na natin siya. So as you can see in our account titles, no, wala na naman po yung dalawang titles. So we just put it below, no? So after the office supplies expense, so we have the depreciation expense office equipment. Okay, at saka yung ating accumulated depreciation OE, okay, or the office equipment. Okay, so what we're going to do, 30,000, di ba? So that's data for adjustments letter B. So lagay natin, no, letter B, so debit depreciation expense under the column of debit, letter B, no, 30,000. Okay, and then credit, okay, credit naman po, accumulated depreciation OE or office equipment, no, 30,000. So again, do not forget to please make sure na tama yung input ng amount, no, to avoid transposition or slide errors at saka yung maling pag-input whether debit ba siya or credit. Okay? So yan. So after putting it there, we're done with the data for adjustments, letter B. Okay? So nakikita niyo naman na yung pattern, di ba? So you look for the data for adjustments, create the parang journal entries pero do not write it yet in the journal formally. You write it first in our adjustments column kay debit and credit. Okay, so dumako tayo dun sa letter C na data for adjustments. Okay, so sa letter C natin, class, no, computer equipment naman, costing 60,000. So yun yung asset cost niya. With an expected life of 3 years, have no residual value was purchased on July 1. So ito, depreciation pa rin siya since this is actually a computer equipment, a property, plant, and equipment. But kaiba siya with letter B kasi it was just purchased on July 1. So as you all know, from July 1 up to December 31, that is only good for 6 months. So with regards to our adjusting entry, debit depreciation expense pa rin. Okay? Ngayon naman CE kasi computer equipment, and then credit accumulated depreciation, okay, CE. Magkano kaya yung ating adjusting entry? So the cost was 60,000. And then 'di ba wala namang salvage value, so wala tayong ma-minus, divide lang natin ng 3. So if this is annually supposed to be 20,000 ang kanyang depreciation. Pero since July nga lang siya binili, so times 6/12 kasi it's only good for 6 months. So our depreciation expense would be amounting to 10,000 only. Okay, so debit depreciation expense, CE 10,000 pesos, and credit accumulated depreciation CE 10,000 pesos. Okay? So as you have noticed again in our worksheet, no, wala ulit yung titles na yon. So we can actually again include this dun sa bottom part. Okay, so depreciation expense computer equipment at saka yung ating accumulated depreciation. Okay, so again, no, 10,000 pesos. So dagdag lang tayo ng dagdag dun sa account titles pag hindi naman nakalagay doon. Okay? So letter C na yon, so debit depreciation expense CE na 10,000. Okay, and then credit accumulated depreciation CE, that would be 10,000. Okay, so yan yung ating data for adjustments letter C about the depreciation of computer equipment. So again, pag may mga questions kayo, just please let me know lang. Okay, sige. So we're done with letter C. Okay, ano lang class, no, paalala lang, dapat tama yung pag-compute natin ng amounts na ilalagay kasi again, pag nagkamali kayo doon at saka nagkamali kayo ng sulat or transposition or slide or even the account, it would cost, again, nasa column 3 and 4 pa lang tayo ha, makakaapekto na yon hanggang matapos natin itong worksheet pag nagkamali kayo ng anything. Okay? So, ayan, no, we are more on faithful representation or accuracy. Tandaan niyo yan. No? We have discussed that in Module 1. Okay. So, going back with our data for adjustments. Okay, letter D na tayo. So, a premium of 12,000 for 1-year insurance policy was paid on December 1. So, this is a payment of an insurance premium. So, malamang sa malamang, this will be under the adjustments for prepaid expense ulit. Diba? So, pero tignan niyo yung date ha, it started on December 1. Okay, so paano natin malalaman what method, whether asset or expense method yung gagamitin natin for the adjustments? Tignan ulit natin yung trial balance. As you can see in the trial balance, what is given na amount was actually the prepaid insurance account. So since prepaid insurance account was given, it means that we have initially recorded our prepaid insurance as an asset. So since asset yon, then we will be using the asset method, and what portion will be adjusted? You are correct, yung expired portion. So kung expired portion yan, no, tignan natin yung dapat na maging adjusting niya. So kung expired portion yon, that should be a debit to what? Insurance expense. Diba? Insurance expense. And then we credit the prepaid insurance account. So ilang buwan po yung lumipas? Prepaid insurance account, ilang buwan na yung lumipas. So we have paid for 12,000. Okay, tapos ilang buwan na lumipas since we have paid it starting December. So December and then December 31 lang naman ang cut-off natin. So times 1/12. So magkano yon? The insurance expense expired during the year 2020 was actually only 1,000 pesos. So that's 12,000 divided 12,000 times 1/12. 12. Okay? So 1,000, debit insurance expense, credit prepaid insurance. Can you see a prepaid insurance account? Meron, 'di ba? How about insurance expense? Meron ba? Wala. So dadagdag ulit tayo ng title, insurance expense. Okay? So that's already letter D. So debit insurance expense, letter D, 1,000. Okay. And then credit prepaid insurance, letter D, okay, 1,000. So after we input that, no, tapos na tayo sa data for adjustments, letter D. Okay? And we have actually one more na lang, 'di ba? So we have letter letter E. So tapusin na natin. So ang sabi po, no, salaries earned by a legal aid which had not yet been paid, no, amount of 4,000. So nakapag trabaho na si employee pero hindi pa natin nababayaran. So that is actually an example of what? You are correct. That is an example of an accrued expense, 'di ba? Expenses incurred but not yet paid. Okay, so kung expenses incurred yan, ang supposed to be entry niyan is debit salaries expense. Okay, so palakihan ko lang. So salaries expense and then supposed to be credit salaries payable. Okay. Now, it's amounting to 4,000 pesos. Okay. So, let's check yung titles, no? Meron na ba tayong salaries expense? Meron na. Meron ba tayong salaries payable? Wala pa. So, we will just include again another account title for salaries payable. Okay. So, ayan, debit salaries expense, credit salaries payable, and that for letter E. Okay, so debit salaries expense daw, letter E. So, lagay sa debit, letter E. 4,000 pesos. Okay? And credit salaries payable, letter E, no? 4,000 pesos. Okay? So, make sure that you have incorporated all of the data for adjustments. So, in our case for this problem, no, we have already included everything. So, we're done with our adjustments. Okay? So since tapos na tayo dun sa adjustments, no, ang gagawin natin next is to total the columns. Okay? So ang huling title is salaries payable. So maglalagay ako ng underline ulit. Kayo pag naglagay kayo, no, so please again use your tawag dito, use your ruler properly or anything that you can use to rule. Okay? So ayun ha, nasa dulo ng 3 to 4. Okay, 3 hanggang 4. So yung line natin, and what you're going to do is to add the debits and add the columns for credits. So dapat again, no, equal po yung balance natin. Sige, you can pause for a while and then compute, no, magkano yung total. Okay, and then ako naman, no, since nakapag-compute na ako, the total is actually 50,500. So that's your total debit. And then ganun din dun sa credit, no? You can try it ha, you can pause for a while and then you can check for the totals if parehas tayo. Okay? So ayan, no? So dapat balance rin yan, no? Even though this is adjustments column since always the debit should equal to the credit. Okay? So do not forget class to write double rule. Again, sa pag double rule class ha, use the ruler. Okay, so lagay po kayo ng bottom ruler. Hindi nyo lang napapansin maigi kasi medyo maliit sa screen. Pero I have included here, as you can see, no, a thick line para mag-double rule. Okay? So dulo sa dulo ha ng 3 at saka ng 4. Okay, so that's for the adjustments column po natin. Okay, balik ko siya dun sa original view. All right. So after natin mailagay yung adjustments. So as mentioned to you kanina in the theoretical discussion, no? So after we have completed the adjustments column, ang next nyo naman nalalagyan is adjusted trial balance. If you have remembered kanina in the PowerPoint presentation ko, no, the adjusted trial balance is the trial balance plus the adjustments. Okay, plus or minus the adjustments. Okay, so sir, paano yung mga walang adjustments? So tignan natin, copy-paste lang. So we have here, no, cash. So since si cash is hindi naman talaga nag-appear in any adjusting entries that we have discussed in Module 4, so wala siyang adjustments. So what you will do for the 75,000 in cash is just to copy-paste it, okay, or isulat nyo lang doon sa ating adjusted trial balance column. So kagaya nito, no? So nasa debit siya in the trial balance, wala namang adjustments, edi kopyahin mo lang siya, ilagay mo sa adjusted trial balance debit part. Okay? So that's one. Then we have the trial balance office supplies which have a debit of 8,000. And yung adjustments natin may credit na 5,500. So since debit yung trial balance and then credit yung adjustments, pa-minus yon, di ba? Kasi magkaiba sila ng balances kung saan nilagay. Saan mas mataas? Sa debit. So if you deduct 8,000 with the 5,500, that is actually a remaining balance of 2,500 and it will be written on the debit since mas malaki po yung balance in the debit and office supplies has a normal balance of debit talaga. Okay, so ganun ha, pag magkaiba sila ng placement, ide-deduct. Okay, then prepaid insurance, same din, debit na, na 12,000, tapos adjustments na is credit na 1,000, so we will have a remaining balance na mas malaki naman yung debit at 11,000. Okay? For office equipment, dahil wala namang pagbabago, then you just copy the 150,000. Okay? Tignan nyo lang maigi yung columns sa pinagsusulatan nyo class ha. Dapat it should be columns 5 and 6 already or referring to the adjusted trial balance na. Same with the computer equipment, no? Wala namang pagbabago, so just copy it to the adjusted trial balance debit. Ganun din si accounts payable pero by this time nasa credit naman siya. Your notes payable as well na 50,000 on the credit side. Your capital, JK capital, no, hindi naman nagbago. So, ayan, 124,000 credit pa rin. Then we have JK drawing. So, that would be on the debit side, 45,000. Your consulting revenues was not affected by any adjustments. Kaya just copy it and paste it on the credit side of the adjusted trial balance. Yung rent expense, hindi rin nagbago. So, that's a debit of 45,000. Ito na, salaries expense. So mapapansin ninyo class, naka-debit si salaries expense initially in the trial balance. Then may debit siya in the adjustments. So kung parehas sila ng side class, just like this, parehas na debit, so ang gagawin naman is i-add po natin. So 125,000 plus 4,000, that is actually a total of 129,000. Okay? So ano, ganun ha, pag magkaparehas, then add, pag magkaiba ng side, minus, kung saan mas malaki yung amount, doon mo ilalagay yung balance. And then pag wala ka naman, kung mag-isa ka lang, hayaan mo siya mag-isa. Charot, hindi. Pag wala siyang data for adjustments, edi kopyahin mo lang. Okay? So let's continue. So for the telephone expense, same lang po, 9,000, wala namang adjustments. Yung utilities expense din po, same lang. Okay. Ayan, 40,000. So yung total kokopyahin ba? Hindi. Huwag niyong kopyahin yung total. Doon na kayo sa mga specific accounts talaga. Office supplies expense, 5,000. Huwag niyong kopyahin yung letters class. So ayan, 5,000. And then your depreciation expense, debit 30,000. Yung accumulated depreciation OE or office equipment, credit naman. So kopya lang sa credit side. Then we have also the depreciation expense, CE computer equipment, debit. Accumulated depreciation, office equipment, credit. Insurance expense, 1,000 debit. And then finally, our salaries payable, okay, debit. Debit ba? Mali. Credit. Di ba? Payable yon. Okay? So again, please make sure that you add or deduct it properly and then you copy it properly so that you could be able to properly, no? Properly write it down. Okay? At saka tama po yung balance po natin. Okay. So, after nyo pong makopya to the adjusted trial balance, no, lagay ulit tayo ng underline under the part nung ating salaries payable kasi kailangan po natin yon as equal sign. And then you can pause for a while. You can total the debit and credit of the adjusted trial balance. Dapat equal na naman po ulit sila. Okay? So you can pause, no? Pero ako po ay tutuloy na because I have added it already and the total is 613,000. Okay? For the debit as well as for our credit. Okay? 613,000. Okay? So after that, lagay ka ulit ng double rule sa ibaba ng 613,000. So do not forget that class. Okay? So I hope that that is clear ha. Pag hindi yan balance, then balikan mo yung mga pinagsusulat mo sa adjusted trial balance, no? Tama ka ba ng kopya, baka na slide or transposition error ka, or baka nagkamali ka ng add or minus with the trial balance plus adjustments. Okay? So after completing the adjusted trial balance, okay, so as mentioned to you a while ago, no, from the adjusted trial balance na mga amounts, you will just sort it, no, to income statements and balance sheets, no. So again, sa income statement po, ang ilalagay natin ay yung ating income and expenses while balance sheet is for the assets. Okay, so pwede na nating simulan from the top up to the bottom. Okay, simulan natin sa cash. So cash is an asset, so that should be written on the debit side of the balance sheet. Okay? So dapat tama kung saan nyo ilalagay class. Office supplies, no? Dahil debit side siya in adjusted trial balance and this is an asset, so write it in our balance sheet pa rin. Okay? Sa balance sheet tayo. And then we have also the prepaid insurance, which is an asset. So nasa debit side siya. So asset din, lagay natin sa asset. Then we have also the office equipment. This is an asset. So lagay po dito sa asset. Again, class, kunin nyo mula sa adjusted trial balance. Baka maduling kayo. Gagamitin nyo siya mula sa trial balance. Mamamali kayo ha. Dapat sa adjusted trial balance. Okay, next for the computer equipment. So again, that's an asset. So lagay sa debit side ng balance sheet. Accounts payable is a liability. So that would be under the credit side of our balance sheet. Okay, adjust ko lang konti. Ayan. So next would be the notes payable. So that would be a credit side, no, of our balance sheet. Then JK Capital, 124,000. So credit side under the balance sheet. Ito, JK Drawing. So that would be part pa lang muna ng balance sheet natin. Okay? Then next would be consulting revenues. So itong consulting revenues, this is now an income account. So kung income account yan, dapat ilalagay natin siya sa credit side ng income statement. Okay? So copy sa income statement na po tayo ha, 390,000. Then we have rent expense, no, which is an expense account found in the income statement. So debit side naman po siya ng ating income statement. Then we have also the salaries expense, no, an expense account, so income statement then. Telephone expense, so expense, income statement account, debit. Utilities expense, no, 40,000, income statement ulit, debit. Next would be the office supplies expense, so that is an expense, so debit side din ng ating income statement. Then depreciation expense, office equipment. So yeah, that's an expense ulit. So credit, debit side ng income statement. Now, accumulated depreciation. So if you have remembered class, no, accumulated depreciation account is a contra asset account. So it means this will be a permanent account kaya mapupunta siya sa balance sheet, no, under credit side, which is its normal balance. Okay? So 30,000 yung accumulated depreciation, balance sheet. Next, depreciation expense, computer equipment, so 10,000. So that will go to the income statement, no, since this is an expense, debit side. Next would be the accumulated depreciation, 10,000. So sa balance sheet ulit, since this is a contra asset account. Insurance expense, so this is an expense account to be found in our income statement. So debit side ng income statement. And then lastly, we have the salaries payable, 4,000. Okay? And that would be under your balance sheet kasi that's a liability account. Okay? So I hope that that is clear ha. So again, sort it properly from the adjusted trial balance on whatever whatever um, account siya, dapat magfo-fall, whether under the income statement accounts. Again, this is for the expenses and income accounts, and for the balance sheet are the nominal accounts such as asset, liabilities, and equity accounts. Okay. So after mong ma-sort yung income statement and balance sheet, the next step is actually not to total the debits and credits of the income statement and balance sheet. Okay? So lalagay lang ulit ako ng line no na kahanay nung sa salaries payable, sa baba ng salaries payable. So lagay lang ulit ako ng tick line para makita ninyo. Again ha, use ruler or any ruling agent, no? Pwedeng yung inyong ano ba diyan sa bahay niyo kung wala kayong ruler, pwedeng yung ID ninyo, no? Ginagawa ko nung college yung ID holder, no? Yun yung ginagawa kong ruler or whatever. Basta I don't want lang class to see a crooked line. Okay? So you need to add the debits and credits, no? So you can pause for a while, okay? And then you can total the debits and credits. So ako po ay hindi na magpo-pause, no? Kasi na-total ko na, pero kayo you can pause for a while and total it. So in the income statement, pag tinotal mo yung debit, this is actually 269,500. Okay? Then the credit side is 390,000. Okay, may mga magre-react na, sir, bakit hindi equal? Mamaya, let me explain. Sa balance sheet debit side naman, ang total niya is 343,500. And then for the credit side of the balance sheet, it is a total of 223,000. Okay? So ayan. So unlike with the adjustments column and adjusted trial balance wherein we have a debit and credit that are equal. Okay? So ngayon po no, ano talaga to no class? Ganyan talaga yan. No? Hindi talaga mag-i-equal yung debit and credit ng income statement and balance sheet. Okay, debit and credit. Kasi we will do the last step. No? Kung naalala nyo kanina doon sa theoretical discussion ng worksheet, merong nag-flash dun sa screen na last step no, which I did not explain further kasi gusto kong makita nyo dito. No? That the difference between the debit and credit would be the determination of whether there is a net income or net loss. Okay? So actually, paano natin malalaman kung may net income or net loss? Ganito lang, tingin kayo sa income statement class. Okay? So sa income statement, pag na-total niyo yan, no, 390 yung credit, tapos debit is 269,500. Okay, ano ba yung nasa credit ng income statement? Hindi ba ito ay yung consulting revenues? Okay, consulting revenues na 390. Tapos kung mapapansin ninyo, lahat nung nasa debit side naman ay puros lahat expenses. Hindi ba? So, based on our discussion in Module 1 about matching principle, di ba? Expenses and income are being checked, no? And pag mas malaki yung income compared with the expense, then meron tayong net income. Okay, so sulat ko dito. Pag yung income, lakihan ko po yung font. Okay, so if there is an income, which is greater, okay? Ang income ulit is nasa credit side, di ba? If this is greater than your expenses, which can be found on the debit side naman, then it means na meron po tayong what? There is an what? There is a net income, okay, na tinatawag. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na net income. Okay, so we will explain that further pag nasa financial statement din tayo, no? And then if the income naman would be less than naman doon sa ating expenses, then we will have a net loss na tinatawag. Okay, so nalugi ka pag ganun yung scenario. Now, looking into butter legal services, okay, so mas malaki yung credit side, which is the income compared with the expenses. So saan siya magpo-fall? There is an net income. There is a net income. Okay. So magkano kaya yon? 290, no? The difference. 290 tuloy. 390,000, okay, which is the income. I-less nyo ngayon 269,500. Magkano yung lalabas? Okay, you are correct. Ang lalabas dyan is 120,500. Okay, 120,500. So ano po yung gagawin natin? Okay, if such the case. So pag meron pong ganyan, no, para magbalanse, ang ginagawa po natin, makinig kayo maigi ha, here's the rule dyan. Kung nasaan yung pinakamaliit na amount, in this case debit, di ba? Mas mababa yung debit kaysa dun sa credit ng income statement part, then doon nyo po isusulat yung ating difference. Again, magkano yung difference? The difference was actually, I have computed it, 120,500. Okay? So, 120,500 yung ating difference. So, ang sabi ko po, isusulat nyo sa side na mababa yung difference. So, I will write here, dahil debit yung mas mababa, 120,500. Okay? So there is already an assumed net income, no? So 120,500. Okay? So ngayon, ang gagawin nyo, no, after nyo maisulat dun sa pinakamababang amount in the debit side, just like this, yung difference na 120,500, i-total nyo ulit siya. So lalagyan ko ng underline after nung parehas class from column 7 to 8, okay? From column 7 to 8, no? Tignan nyo yung hina-highlight ko. Lalagyan ko siya ng tick bottom. So that means I have underlined it. May equal sign ulit, no? So ang gagawin natin, no? Pag inad nyo yan, 269,500 plus 120,500, ang lalabas po is 390,000. Okay? So ayan. 390,000. Sa kabilalin, i-bring down nyo na lang din. Tandaan nyo, i-bring down nyo ha, 390,000. Ayan, in that case, dapat equal na sila after nyo ilagay yung difference. Okay? So nilalagay natin sa debit dahil una, mas mababa yon, and at the same time, that actually represents a net income. Okay? So dahil net income yan, ilalagay ko dito sa account title, no? Katapat nung sinulat ko na 120,500 yung word na net income. Sir, kailangan po ba capitalize lahat? Hindi naman. Pwedeng sentence case or pwedeng na-capitalize. Basta lagyan ninyo ng net income kung may net income. Okay? And then, another is dun sa balance sheet naman. Hindi pa siya equal, di ba? So, ang gagawin natin, no, is ganun din, no? I-deduct nyo yung malaki dun sa mababa. So, itong 343,500, no, which is the debit, deduct nyo dito sa 223,000. So, magkano difference? The difference is 120,000 din. So just like the rule in the income statement, kung saan po yung mababa, doon natin i-add yung difference. So I will put the difference on the credit side. Okay? Dapat parehas yan, no? 120,500. Okay? Clear ba tayo? Ulitin ko lang ha. In the balance sheet, again, hindi balanse yung after natin i-total yung debit and credit. So ang next step ninyo is to deduct the higher column, which is the debit in this case, with the credit. and then yung difference nun will be added doon sa ating pinakamababang column, which is in this case, credit side. Okay? So let's again write a line, no, from columns 9 to 10. Okay, lalagyan ko ulit siya ng tick line para lang mag-denote na yun ay equal sign. Okay? And then i-bring down mo yung debit, no? 343,500. Okay? And then sa credit, pag inad mo yung 223,000 at saka 120,500, dapat it should also equal to 343,500. Okay? So ayan, equal na po. So again, no, mapapansin niyo class na balanse na siya after considering the difference. Okay? So after niyan, no, tapusin muna natin yung technicalities, no. From column 7 to column 10, no, yung ilalim nitong mga totals na to na dapat equal, lagyan niyo ulit ng double rule. Okay? Nilalagyan ko na ng double rule. So ayan, makikita ninyo, lakihan ko lang. Ay, sorry. Ayan. You can see a double rule. Ayan, may double rule sila from the income statement up to the balance sheet. Okay, so wag niyo kakalimutan yan class, double rule. At walang gagamit ng lapis sa pag-double rule ha, dapat naka-ballpen kayo. At wag din red ballpen. I will just allow blue or black ballpen. Okay? So balik ko siya dun sa original view. Ngayon i-explain ko yung technicalities nung ating nilagay na difference. Okay. So 'di ba kung mapapansin niyo, no? Yung difference natin in the income statement at saka balance sheet parehas na 120,500. Does it mean na in all cases, sir, dapat equal sila? The answer is yes. Okay? The answer is yes, class. All of the time once you prepare a worksheet at hindi nag-equal yung income statement at saka balance sheet, then you will do whatever I taught you kanina na i-compare yung debit and credit at idadagdag yung difference. Dapat yung difference ng income statement should be equal to the balance sheet. Okay? So, if gaya na sinabi ko kanina, in the income statement, as you can see, mas malaki yung credit kesa sa debit, then there is a net income. Pag mas mababa naman yung net credit side, which is the income compared with the expenses, then meron tayo net loss. Okay, so dito net income kasi tayo eh. Sir, bakit sa balance sheet may net income din na 120,500? That will actually be explained further pag diniscuss natin yung financial statement. Pero just to give you an idea, class, no, sa preparation natin ng financial statement at saka yung next step discussions natin na closing entry, the net income is close to the capital. Okay? Sinasarado siya sa capital or nilalagay siya sa capital. Eh, nasaan ba yung capital in the balance sheet? Hindi ba nasa credit side ng balance sheet? Okay, kaya that explains kung bakit nilalagay sa credit side yung difference sa net income. Okay? Are we clear on that, class? Okay? Sir, paano pag magkaiba yung nilagay namin? Ibig sabihin may mali kang nagawa. Kasi all of the time, dapat yung net income or net loss na ilalagay mo sa worksheet to balance the income statement and balance sheet should always be equal. Okay? Saka kung mapapansin mo, magkahiwalay sila, no? Yung net income ng income statement nasa debit, yung balance sheet nasa credit. Kaya isa rin na sinabi ko kanina na huwag niyong pagbabalik-tarin yung header or title. Dapat sa column 7 and 8, dapat income statement talaga, and then columns 9 and 10 will be for the balance sheet. Okay? Are we clear on that? Sige. So, sir, paano kaya kung halimbawa, no? Can you give us an example? Paano kung net loss? Okay, sampulan ko lang gawa ko ng mini dito sa baba, no? Mini worksheet na ipapakita ko lang sa inyo itsura kung paano just in case na ayan. So halimbawa, ganito 'yung nangyari. Sa income statement, mas malaki yung expense. Let's say for example, baliktarin natin, 390,000 is yung nasa hindi, wag 390 para hindi masyadong ayan, 450,000 for example. Yung nasa income statement debit side. And then, ang credit niya lang is 390. So, lumalabas that the income is less than the expense. Okay? So, pag pinag-minus natin sila, alin yung mas malaki? Si debit, di ba? Mas mababa si credit. So anong rule natin? I-add yung difference sa pinakamababa. So i-add natin sa credit side. 450 minus 390. Magkano yun? That is equal to 60,000. Okay, you're correct. 60,000. Okay, so i-bring down nyo ulit. That will now be equal to 450,000. Okay, 450,000. Okay. Ganun din yung gagawin natin sa balance sheet. Assume din natin na ang mangyari naman dyan, class, no, lalabas na mas malaki naman yung credit kesa sa debit. Sige, samplean natin. Dapat 60,000 ang difference. It should be, let's say, 600,000 dito. Sample lang to, ha? 660,000. Okay. So ngayon naman, kung mapapansin niyo, no, mas malaki yung credit ng balance sheet kesa sa debit. Okay? So difference 60,000, idadagdag niyo dun sa mababa, which is the debit side, 60,000. Okay? So pag inad natin, that will now be 660,000. So equal na sila. Okay? So what will happen, class, no, if there would be a net loss just like this, kasi sa income statement mas malaki yung debit side kesa sa credit side. Okay, so ang mangyari, makikita ninyo magkatabi yung difference. Kanina dito magkahiwalay, 120 on the debit ng income statement, sa balance sheet credit side, no, 120, 500 sa credit. Pag dito naman, net loss, huwag mong kalimutan, ha. Halimbawa, lagyan ko dito ng net loss. Okay, net loss dapat, ha, pag ganun yung lalabas. Net loss. Okay, ayan, katapat dapat siya nung difference. And also, again, the difference should always be equal as well. Okay, pag net loss naman, di ba, nalugi yung company, so malamang may loss nga tayo. Sir, bakit nasa debit siya ng balance sheet? Actually, sa capital pa rin ang bagsak niya. Kaya lang siya nasa debit. It's because later, pag diniscuss natin in the succeeding video yung net loss, it will serve as a deduction in capital. Ano bang normal balance ng capital? Credit. Pag dinidak natin siya, edi ilalagay mo siya sa debit. Okay? So we will explain that further pagdating ng mga next na video lectures. But for the meantime, for the purpose of the worksheet, so ganun po yung manonotice ninyo. The difference of the income statement and balance sheet, since hindi siya nag-equal, are the same, but yung pwestuhan niya, tignan nyo, ha. Ito, this is just a joke, pero I think mas madali nyo maintindihan yan. Dito sa net income, kung makikita ninyo, magkahiwalay sila. Okay, ito yung isipin niyo. This is just a joke, ha, pero this can be used as well to easily memorize it. Parang love life lang yan, di ba? Pag magkahiwalay kayo ng girlfriend or boyfriend mo, no, iwas gastos, meron kang net income. Okay, so ayan, no, basta tama yung income statement at balance sheet, ha, magkalayo kayo, may net income. Pero pag magkalapit kayo, kagaya nito, no, lugi ka, may net loss ka. Okay, ang corny ng joke, no, pero that's kumbaga an imaginary mind lang, no. If magkahiwalay yung pagsusulat niyo ng balances, then that means there is a net income. Pag magkadikit sila, no, nasa credit ng income statement, nasa debit ng balance sheet, then there is a net loss naman. Basta at the end of the day, ang goal natin is dapat equal itong bottom part ng income statement and balance sheet after considering the effects of the net income and net loss natin. Okay? So I hope that that is clear. So that's how we complete our worksheet. Okay, sir, paano pag sa dulo hindi talaga balance ulit yung net loss namin or net income natin, or hindi siya parehas na balance sheet at income statement? Again, you need to double check. No? Kaya nga po, what we have mentioned before in module number 1, na dapat ingat kayo, no? We should faithfully represent everything. Kaya in every step that we do, we need to be a keen observant of the amount, how to write it, how to compute it in the calculator, or even where to put it, debit or credit ba, para at least, no, hindi kayo mag-double work. kasi medyo challenging yun. Halimbawa, natapos nyo na tong worksheet, pagdating sa dulo, hindi siya nag-equal, babalikan mo lahat, no? O magbubura ka lahat, no? So, or uulitin mo yan. Actually, this is one of the challenges of my former students, no? Na pag nagkamali sila dito sa dulo, no, they need to repeat everything in the worksheet because I don't want to see any erasure in the worksheet. And that's how it works, class. Even though it's a working paper, no, we should have at least a clean working paper para mas naiintindihan po natin. Okay? So are we clear on that? All right, so I'm done with the discussion of worksheet, and that's how we complete the worksheet. Again, an optional step. So pag nakompleto mo na yung worksheet, you can now proceed with the next step of the accounting process, which we will be showing naman in the succeeding video lectures. Okay? Bago po ako magtapos no dito sa ating worksheet, no, meron lang ako naalalang question ng mga students. What if daw, let's say for example, ito no, let's say, for example, sa salaries expense, meron daw dalawang adjusting entries na magkahiwalay. Okay? Tapos, syempre, magkahiwalay sila ng data for adjustments. So, pag ginawaan mo ng entry, magkahiwalay. Okay, now, sir, paanong mangyayari kung halimbawa, there is a transaction na affects one account, pero parehas sila ng side. Let's say parehas na debit, no? Tapos dalawang transaction or 3 transaction. What should I do pag nilagay ko siya sa adjustments column? Okay? So ganito ang gagawin ninyo, no? Papakita ko siya dito sa baba, ikakopy ko lang siya para mas mas malinaw. Ayan, I hope that you can see it here. Okay? So ang gagawin nyo class, no? Actually, in-expand ko siya kasi i-imagine nyo na pagkakasyahin lang natin siya. Okay. So what will happen class, no? If just in case there are 2 adjustments, let's say letter E and letter J, for example, no? Are adjustments about salaries expense at parehas pa sila na debit, paano gagawin? So since kayo ay magsusulat class, no? Pagkakasyahin niyo siya in just one line. Hindi pwedeng mag-ulit na account titles class. We don't want to see repetition of account titles. Pag naisulat niyo na siya dito sa account title ng once, isang beses niyo lang talaga siya dapat isulat. And then, ang mangyari na lang, just like what I'm doing here, no? Let's say for example, yung letter J na adjustment na magfo-fall din sa debit side is, let's say, worth 8,000. Okay? So, ang gagawin nyo is parang hahatiin nyo siya into 2. Okay? Assume nyo lang ha, parang imagine ninyo na pagkakasyahin nyo yung dalawang transaction na yon in just one line. Okay? So, 8,000, di ba? So, sa taas, yung nauna, which is 4,000. Tapos ngayon naman, yung another, which is 8,000. Okay? Dito sa computerized, madali ko siyang ginagawa. Pero sa inyo class, you need to check that, no? Parang pagkakasyahin niyo siya in just one row, okay? Bawal sila mag-overlap to each other. So parang ganito yung magiging itsura. This is the one row, tapos pagpapatungin niyo sila, the first one is in the upper part and then the other one is in the lower part. Yun lang yung challenge kapag medyo madaming totality nung, maraming data for adjustments which is affecting one account. Okay? So ganyan yung gagawin nyo ha. Even credit din, kung ganun din, no, pag nasa taas yung una and then nasa baba yung pangalawa. Sir, paano pag tatlo na? Ayan, medyo challenging na yung tatlo, no? So kailangan mo na ng another space. Pero it will not happen naman in our examples, no? Kasi if such the case, pwede nyo ring i-total yan, no? Sir, pwede bang i-total ko na lang kung 4,000, 8,000, no? I-total ko na lang na 12,000. It will only happen class and we will allow it if your adjusting entry would be a compound journal entry. Pag kinompound natin. Okay, pwede yon. So halimbawa kagaya nito, ilagay mo na lang 12,000. So wag mong kakalimutan na pag pinag-journal entry na kita formally ng adjusting entry, dapat naka-compound journal entry yan. Okay, kahit magkaibang data for adjustments. Okay? So I hope that that is clear about the technicalities in the worksheet. No? Again, pag may mga questions po kayo, just please let me know. So again ha, I just want to put an emphasis that you do not forget yung steps natin, yung mga pag-underline, yung pag-add ng mga amounts, properly writing it in the proper money column, at saka yung double ruling natin class. At saka yung paglalagay ng either net income or net loss. Lastly, no, about spelling, I just want to remind you about the spellings that we have already mentioned before in our previous discussions. No, please take note of the spellings of the account titles as well as the name of the company. Lastly, about the date as well. No, so it should be written properly. Kasi isipin niyo, pag binigyan ko to ng 100 points, nagkamali kayo sa name ng company or even the date na nilagay nyo, 2020 pala, dapat 2021. Okay, so mali na kayo. Wala na kayong 100 points. Okay, even the account titles, maling spelling, okay, then it would also bear a deduction in your activity. Okay? So we will just be ending this here, no, for the worksheet preparation, but we will continue our discussion. The next step, no, balik po ako doon sa aking PowerPoint. If you have remembered, no, the next step in our accounting process, no, after discussing the worksheet, sorry, nasa na ba yun? Okay. So after discussing the worksheet is yung ating preparation of financial statements. So kaya tayo gumawa ng worksheet kasi we want to facilitate the preparation of financial statements. Okay? So kaya yun po yung mangyayari doon. Okay, step number 6. Ay sorry, last na talaga doon sa worksheet. Nalimutan kong i-explain kung bakit siya pwedeng maging 8-column worksheet. Kasi kanina binanggit ko pala na pwede ang 8-column worksheet. So I just go back here in the worksheet. No? Sometimes you can use 8-column worksheet kasi ang mangyari na lang po, mawawala itong adjusted trial balance. Okay, so pwede po yung mawala. So magiging columns 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Pag 8-column worksheet ang pinagawa sa inyo in the future, no? Pero in my class 10-column worksheet ang gagamitin natin, ha. Baka in the future, no, pag nag-accountancy na kayo, if that is already used, no, yung 8 worksheets sa inyo. So mawawala lang yung adjusted trial balance, pero ang mangyari lang din, no, parang 'di ba padaanan lang kasi adjusted trial balance ng trial balance plus adjustments, and then sinusort din natin siya into income statement and balance sheet. So what you can do is trial balance plus or minus adjustments, ilagay nyo na siya agad doon sa respective income statement or balance sheet column. Halimbawa, ito, office supplies, makikita mo, trial balance minus adjustments, and then nalagay lang siya yung difference sa balance sheet. So parang ganun din, no? Nawala lang yung in-between na adjusted trial balance. Okay? Pero yung rules natin in writing and completing this are also the same, except for the adjusted trial balance. Okay? So with that, no, I'm ending now my discussion. Again, if you do have questions about the worksheet preparation, okay, just please let me know on our respective chat boxes, or you can just comment your questions in this video lecture. Okay, so I'll see you in our next video lecture, the continuation of the completion of the accounting process. Okay, with that, thank you very much. Kamsahamnida, kapon ka, sayonara, and have a great day. Okay, God bless everyone and stay safe. Bye-bye and have a great day.